G'day YouTube, Turbo Tristan here. Today I'm just going to start this video off with a rundown of what's going to happen in this video. So we got the tyres fitted to the rims, so they're going to be going on the car. I've got some wheel nuts arrived. I'm going to do a little bit of painting, some work on the front brakes. So I'm going to swap out the front brakes. I managed to drill these screws out and get new ones. I'm going to try and change the steering rack boots in there because they are split. With any luck, I'm going to try and do the same on this side and replace the CV/drive shaft because that's split and flicking grease everywhere, so that's pretty gross. Back wheels are already on. I'm going to put that down on the ground soon. We got some new lug nuts just off eBay, $20 for the whole set. It came with a set of 4x5 for a 5 stud, so I've got an extra row left. I have a eBay OBD2 connector that's going to tell me why the engine light's on the car. Before I get started on the steering boots, I'm just going to give the brakes a first coat of paint here on these brackets. Like I mentioned before, I'm not going to do the entire calipers just yet because I'm going to go upgrading to braided lines eventually, and when I do that I'll pull everything apart, pull it all off because I'll need to be bled and properly paint everything then. But these will be done right and they won't need painting again, and plus it'll give a little flash of red behind the nice new wheels, so it'll look a bit better. So yeah, here we go. Quick dust off of these. This is just a light coat. I'll come back to this in a minute and give it another coat. I'll just let that sit. This is high temp caliper paint, just a plain red, nothing too special. Get around and hit this side. Don't worry that I'm missing parts because this is just the first coat just to dust it on there. I'll come back and finish it off in between doing bits and pieces on the steering rack boots. There we go, that'll do. Let that dry, leave the can and everything in the sun. I'll get set up to change the steering rack boots. Okay, so I'm going to get stuck into the steering rack boot first and the driver's side of the car because that's the least work. What I've done is just folded back the tabs on this split pin. I'm about to pull that out with the pliers. I've already gone ahead and cracked the bolt there. Backed off this nut here, which is the locking nut for your steering arm. So once I've undone all of those, I'm going to pull off the steering rack arm and then check out the other end where the steering rack boot goes on. I think there's like a cable tie or something up there, so then I'll just, hopefully all goes well, just slide that out, slide on the new one, zip it up, put everything back together. Then I can swap out the brake rotor on this side with my fresh new screws, put the painted caliper bracket on, and then this side of the car's done. I can put the new rims on and lower it back down to the ground, and then it's over to the other side where the hard work begins. So, all right, let's stick this on a time lapse and get into it. Alright, so I've taken off the old boot. The end was ripped here, so it was leaking all the grease out of there. It's a bit of a mission. I had to crawl on my back, getting old. And this is the bit that was split off the front. This is the new one. Comes with a couple of cable ties, which is going to be much better. A big one for the back and a smaller one for the nose. So that should just be a matter of sliding that over there and buttoning everything back up. So yeah, hopefully I don't run into any troubles, but there it is. I got these pair of Kelpro steering rack boots from eBay. I think for the pair of them was about $7 delivered, so you know, why not? What a bargain. And same with my trusty headlight. That was, I got two of them for I think $16, and they're really, really bright, so much better than the iPhone torch. And yeah, back into it. Alright, so I turned the camera off the time lapse before because I was really struggling. I decided I would go and get some boiling hot water and soak the end in because it just would not go over. I've loosened off the steering rack all the way. Every single bolt is undone, so it's dropped down, giving me a bit more room. And now it's just a matter of zipping the cable tie up on the end. Making sure that's over in the right spot. Alright, that's all the way on the end. Beautiful. Alright, that's one job done on one side. Zip up the cable tie here. I think I need to charge my little lamp. Let's get the side cutters and cut that off, and I can put the brakes on. It was a real mission getting down under there, but lying on my back on the cold concrete, but you got to do what you got to do. But as usual, the boiling hot water in the bucket did the trick. So I'll button all this up now and pack up this side and go over to the other side. Alright, so as you can see, I'm absolutely filthy, but the steering rack boot is done on both sides. Painted the brake caliper bracket, put these tabs back in, and the same as the rear, got the slotted and dimpled rotors, so they're all going back on. I'm using the brake pads that were supplied by the previous owner, which these ones are blue and look really fancy, and they're really aggressive there, whereas the other ones were smooth to start off with, so they look half decent. The brand is PROTEX blue, so some kind of slight upgrade over just a basic pad. Hopefully they're not like Metal Kings or anything like that that are going to chew out my rotors, but yeah, they look the goods. I'm going to put these pads in, and then this side is ready to rock and roll. It even comes with brand new backing plates there. So get the right one. There we are, that's it. So that goes there like that. And that one like that. Might bang those back in, tighten up the brackets, make sure they're good to go. I grabbed the wrong spanner. I'm using a pipe spanner, but that's just the one that I grabbed at the time. Time to put the caliper back on. Just had it resting on that jack stand there. Push those back in. Push the piston back in, sorry. Oh, the wimpy ways with a piston spreader, but there we go. Who needs a brake caliper spreader? Gosh, it looks poxy with one nice painted part and one filthy ass old part, but as I keep saying, we'll get to that later when we change the brake lines. Why don't you go in your home? Too good for your home. Not too tight on those, you'll snap them off. Use a scummy old rotor, the scummy old pads. There was a decent amount of meat left on those. They're sort of worn in a weird way though. One side's worn more than the other, and this one's worn perfectly. So that is weird. But we'll get that out of the road. All right, so there you have it. Rim on, brakes done, steering rack boots done. Now the tough job, which I'm scared of, which is replacing the drive shaft. Well, I'm not scared of it, I just don't know how I'm going to get that center bolt undone without a rattle gun. But I'll figure it out, always do. Alright guys, it's getting late. That's a wrap on this side of the car anyway. So we've got the rim, wheel nuts, new cheapest tyres I could find, $60 each tyre, including freight, and then I paid to get them fitted and balanced. One thing that I want to mention is, even though these wheels were super cheap from overseas, they only required the slightest counterweights, you know, just like tiny little strip of them. I've bought other wheels from other places that are, you know, 4 times as much as this, and they took maybe 4 or 5 times as many counterweights on the wheels. So I'm really happy with that. They're really lightweight. I forgot to mention that in the previous video. So they're really easy to pick up. Even with the tires on them, they're super light. I've got to give this whole thing a bath. It's filthy and it's got all the grease on it from when they put the tires on, but yeah, I'm really happy with that. Don't worry about this guard wheel gap here, because the other side's up on jack stand still. I've got to change the drive shaft. I've come around to the back, all the weight's on this back corner, and it's sitting pretty low at the moment, so that looks pretty cool. Absolutely filthy. Why did I paint the car black?